Hello, I'm Zhong Peiyi. The movie our group is discussing is Barbie 2023. These are the 6 members of our group. My name is Zhong Peiyi. The part of my presentation is the introduction. The Barbie movie generated a lot of discussion. It explored topics such as women's self-presentation, gender equality, and societal exploitation. It combines reality and fantasy to examine modern society. The film shows two worlds, the ideal Barbie world and the imperfect real world. Contrasted is the core narrative, reflecting the struggle between perfection and reality. The director used humor and irony to explore social issue and reveal personal inner contradiction.
Barbie, the main context of this movie is the Barbie in Barbie Land goes to the real world with Kindle to her imperfection. There she adds oddly where Ken's popular and wants to set up a perpetual society back in the park. Later with a human, mom and a doctor. Barbie takes back control for gender equality. Finally, she rejects Kim opts to be human and with a doctor, shedding traditional film limbs and sharing the idea of no technologic shame.
So I'm going to explore how the films address and the challenges of stereotype and prejudices in communication. This concept not only shape the characters' interactions in the movie, but also offer important insight into improving our own communications across cultures. In Barbie 2023, stereotype and prejudices act as barriers to communication. Stereotyping occurs when traits are overgeneralized across a group, ignoring individuality, while prejudice lead to preconceived opinions, often resulting in exclusions and discrimination. In the films, Barbie is labeled as a dumb blonde or an unrealistic beauty ideas shown in scenes where she dismissed as unattainable. Kens, on the other hand, follow practical norms, believing that power and dominance are the only ways to gain respect, as seen when he tried to impose this idea in Barbie Land. This stereotype reinforce misconceptions and block genuine interactions, undermining trust and cooperation. To break down these barriers, we must embrace self-awareness, challenge our own bias, and practice active listening. By respecting cultural diversity and focusing on individual stories, we can foster deeper, more meaningful connections as Barbie does when she learns from others' perspective.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and now I will be explaining about the clash of cultural creeds misunderstanding in Barbie 2023. In Barbie 2023, we can see a significant cultural contrast between the Barbie land and also the real world. Barbie land represents an idealized society with equality, perfection, and empowerment of women. However, when Barbie enters the real world, she encounters a culture defined by patriarchy, objectification, and sexism. These stark differences set the stage for cultural misunderstanding. As Gudensky and Kim in 2023 suggest, unfamiliarity with cultural framework can lead to misinterpretation. Barbie's feeling of discomfort and exclusion illustrates the challenges individual faces when adapting to a new cultural context. Her confusion and uneasiness reflects to the uncertainties people often feel in cross-cultural encounters. Now let's move on to the two key examples of the cultural conflicts in the film. Number one will be the catcalling scene. Barbie, who is used to respect and admiration in Barbie Land, is shocked and unsettled by unsolicited attention from men on the street. This experience highlights her discomfort with the lack of respect and serves as a vivid example of cultural clash. The second one will be the corporate world encounters. In a business meeting, Barbie realized that she is viewed not as a symbol of empowerment, but is viewed as an asset to be commodified, and this starkly contrasts with the equality and celebration of women's accomplishment in Barbie Land. Now let's dive into the bridging cultural division. Firstly, Barbie's adjustment. Barbie's transition from Barbie Land to the real world emphasizes the importance of cultural competence. As Ting Tumbi and Chong in 2012 highlights, effective communication requires open-mindedness, cultural awareness, and a willingness to learn. Barbie's adjustment demonstrates to us how respect and understanding a diverse tradition can bridge cultural divides. Her journey is an excellent example on how one can adapt and thrive in a completely different cultural framework. Now, academic research provides deeper insight into Barbie's experiences. Teresi Ozdemir and Oskan in 2022 discuss how societal norms such as gender role and power distance shapes interpersonal communication. Similarly, hostess cultural dimension, including power distance, individualism, masculinity, uncertainty avoidance, and long-term orientation, influence cross-cultural relationships. Barbie's challenges in adapting to the real world aligns with these cultural dimensions, showcasing how societal expectation affects communication and behavior. Moving on, Barbie 2023 serves as a powerful case study in intercultural communication. It illustrates the potential for misunderstanding due to cultural differences while also highlighting how adaptability and mutual respect can overcome these challenges. The film exploration of cultural variances teaches us valuable lessons about communication in complex, diverse society. And lastly, the key lesson. The overarching messages from Barbie 2023 is clear. Understanding and respecting diverse traditions fosters effective communication. As we navigate increasingly diverse societies, these lessons become even more critical for fostering harmony and collaboration across cultural divides.
The topic of my discussion is culture adaptation, record reflection, and growth. Barbie's dilemma. Barbie's narrow views on women's roles are challenging, leading to confusion and prejudice. Ken's dilemma, the confusion caused by the introduction of Barbie Land after Ken's contact with the real patriarchy, reflects the cross-cultural problem of superficial acceptance of the new culture and the deep link of understanding. Growth revolution. Barbie goes from pursuing perfection to accepting imperfection, understanding emotions, and agility, showing the growth process of letting go of prejudice and adapted to diversity. And I think this sentence is important, is you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be brave.
Hi, my name is Xin Xuan and I will be presenting argument 4. So my argument is that gender as a cultural construct shapes communication. In Barbie Land, women hold power, which are leadership roles, while men are defined by their relationship with Barbies. Barbies communicate confidently and assertively, such as direct eye contact when speaking, while Kens display insecurity and compete for the Barbie's attention. This reversal of roles highlights how gender stereotypes influence communication styles. In the real world, Ken adopts dominant communication to reflect patriarchal norms, reshaping Barbie Land upon his return. Meanwhile, Barbie struggles with objectification and dismissal in male-dominated spaces like the metal boardroom. This contrast reveals the impact of patriarchy on communication and power dynamics. Barbie critiques traditional gender norms, showing how societal expectations shape communication behaviors.
Second, the move Barbie shows the role of nonverbal communication in cross-cultural understanding. Third is non-verbal elements have close gestures and expression. When Barbie first enters the real world, her unclean non-verbal expressions led to misunderstandings when and prejudice, such as being ostracized at school. But her elimination of real-life non-verbal behavior has since been adapted, suggesting the adjusting non-verbal communication can promote integration at the same time. The inflexible relocation of same child actors to Barbie also highlights the hindrance of non-verbal communication. In the move, same child actors are very rude with the Barbie because they are afraid, and as a result, they get in the way of communicating with each other. The film also shows us how important and critical non-verbal behavior is for people from different cultures to communicate with each other.
The last argument we'll be talking about is power dynamic in intercultural communication. In Barbie Land, we see a matriarchal society where Barbie holds leadership and decision-making roles, leaving the Kens feels marginalized. This dynamic changes when Ken visits the real world and adopts patriarchal ideas, showing how exposure to dominant cultural traits can influence marginalized groups. Barbie's experience in the real world highlights another aspect of power dynamics. She confronts patriarchal stereotypes in the scene with the metal executives. Here, Barbie struggles to have her voice heard by an all-male board, reflecting real-world challenges faced by marginalized individuals in power imbalance situations. ultimately, the resolution in Barbie Land, where power is redistributed for balance and collaborations, emphasizes the importance of addressing inequalities. Effective intercultural communications require equity and mutual respect to create meaningful dialogue.
Moving on, there are a few theories that can be applied in the film Barbie. The first one will be communication accommodation theory. This theory explains how people adapt communication to converge, which is to reduce social distance, and diverge, to increase social distance. The theory highlights how individuals navigate power dynamics and societal norms in intercultural and interpersonal interactions. So let's look at some examples. So for the first example, Ken demonstrates divergence by adopting dominance after experiencing patriarchy. He reshapes Barbie Land to distance himself from his submissive role, asserting power and independence. This highlights how communication reflects identity shifts influenced by societal expectations. Next, Barbie uses convergence in the real world, adjusting her communication style while maintaining individuality through non-verbal cues. Her journey shows how communication adaptation fosters understanding while respecting individuality. So these two examples proves that communication accommodation theory can be applied in the film Barbie. Positive cultural dimensions theory helps us understand how cultural differences affect communication. In Barbie 2023, this is seen through power distance and masculinity vs femininity. Power distance refers to how cultures perceive unequal power. In Barbie Land, there is a low power distance where leadership is shared and decisions are made collaboratively. Barbie and her friends work together in a council, promoting fairness. In contrast, the real world has a high power distance, with political authority, as seen in a male-dominated metal boardroom, highlighting a cultural clash between Barbie's world of equality and the real world heresy. Masculinity vs femininity construct cultures that value nurturing vs competitiveness. Barbie Land emphasizes feminine values like harmony and collaboration, shown when Barbie celebrates with her friends. The real world, however, embodies masculine traits focusing on competitions and dominance. As Ken discovers, when he tries to bring this value to the Barbie Land, it creates a clash, showing how different cultural values conflict. The cultural clash intensifies when Ken's, influenced by the practical values of the real world, try to impose them on Barbie Land, creating a kingdom that mirrors the real world with great heresy. This leads to conflicts and communication breakdown. The film critiques cultural dominations, showing that imposing one cultural values on another erases diversity and respect. Eventually, Barbie and Ken resolve their differences, emphasizing the importance of flexibility, understanding, and finding common ground. This teaches us that mutual respect and openness to different perspectives are the key to successful intercultural communication.
Barbie 2023 brilliantly explores intercultural communications through themes like power dynamics, cultural adaptations, and stereotypes. The films use humor and satire to address these complex issues, keeping the audiences engaged while delivering meaningful insights. One of the film's strengths is its contrasting settings. Barbie Land's matriarchy and the real world's patriarchy highlights how power structures shape communications. The resolution, which advocates for balance and mutual respect, reinforces the need for empathy and collaborations in overcoming cultural differences. However, not everything is perfect. The portrayal of the metal executives is overly simplistic, which could have been an opportunity to explore patriarchal power more deeply. Overall, Barbie leaves us with a valuable takeaway. Intercultural communications is about reflection, empathy, and finding common ground. The film reminds us that understanding and valuing diverse perspectives is the key to bridging cultural divides.
In conclusion, Barbie's transition underscores the value of self-awareness and cultural growth, advocates for balanced communication, and challenges traditional norms. There are 5 critical issues that are emphasized, which are stereotypes and prejudice, where challenges ingrained biases, cultural clash which contrasts the Barbie land's utopia with the real-world complexity, gender's construct which explores power dynamics through matriarchy versus patriarchy, and then will be non-verbal communication which it highlights its role in cross-cultural interaction, and lastly will be the power dynamics where it affects how people and cultures communicate.